the sheer game on this morning. Good morning, family.
Good morning, everyone.
Waiting for everybody to come on in.
Thank you for tuning in to the Morning Bump. Give us a second as we share because our assistant hasn't got here quite yet. Speaking into existence, Mickey.
Good morning, Becky B. You're going to just keep playing it, right?
It's every morning. I got the phone on silent.
Renee Jackson.
Golly. Yeah, what's wrong with you, Mickey? Come here with that attitude.
YouTube give me flags for that stuff that you be pulling off.
Oh.
That little second right there, I'm going to get a flag today.
Man, that don't be YouTube. That be them you people out there. They be the ones flagging. How everybody doing this morning?
Music. They say the music.
Oh, they say the music. They heard that little bit right there.
And that's going to be enough to cause hell.
That's a shame.
Good morning, Kathleen King. Sandra, good morning.
Good morning.
Anna, Sarah, Tia, good morning. Well, great morning to the queens that tapped in with us this morning.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning to you. Come on, share.
To my brother Bilal. He done tapped in with us. Elijah, good morning.
Elijah.
We're going to have that meat free coming in 2024. Ketrin, good morning. Good morning. Sure.
What's coming in 2024?
Attire.
Oh, yeah. They didn't hear that my announcement the other morning. So we have teamed up with the people at Beautify Salon and Beauty and Barber Supply Shop across the street from the Grand Blanc Township Police Department in Grand Blanc. And it will be up soon on their website, a little link with 810 News Media Group, and you can go and get all of your custom t-shirts and cups and hats and everything, and that will be coming soon, the first of the year. So I'm excited about that. Very excited.
Alan, Linda, Yvette, Jasmine, Beasley, Chrissy, Carmichael,
Cheryl Hart, say good morning to
Christine,
everybody.
I gotta do it.
Good morning.
Yvette, Linda, Alan, Michelle Pfeiffer, Nikki, good morning. Thanks for bumping with the clowns of the morning.
Who you calling a clown?
Both of us.
Then he gonna say both of us. I'm not no clown.
I know.
Mickey Jordan. Shout out to 810 News Media Group and the greatest producer in the world, Mickey Jordan.
Show that. I have to say something. Got to entertain the people. Raymond.
Where Gina Luster? Gina up yet?
Jessica. Good morning. Philip.
Where
Good
Gina
brother. Good morning. Y'all know we do a little entertainment along with giving you some truths. But right now it's hard to Sanaya, good morning. It's kind of hard to tell the truth in this city. Sammy, good morning. Thanks for bumping with us. Tasha Bella, good morning from Memphis. Stephanie, good morning, fam. Good morning.
My finger hurt.
Outcast, good morning.
Good morning.
Oh, this could be I'll be at the meeting. We're gonna be the YOLO Media. Good morning.
Oh, that's the first thing we're talking about.
Oh, yes, definitely.
Good morning, everyone.
Oh, you know it, Yvette. We sure do be having fun.
Mickey, I sent you a video for the people.
You didn't send me no video. I ain't get it.
You ain't get it yet? Why you don't never get none of my stuff?
I don't know. It ain't popping.
Okay, well, let me go see where it's at. How's everyone doing out there this morning so far? Oh yeah, you got it. You got it in Messenger. So while everybody's steady coming on, good morning. Oh, you just found out Eva dropping out the race. We reported that yesterday.
But she hasn't quit. She
gonna keep going. She's not quitting until May. She just gave her 6 months advance notice. She just looking for some sympathy, child. That's all that is.
Yeah, she might get a change of heart.
If she got a heart, she might get a change of back. We know she got plenty of backs. What? You about to jump off the plane?
I'm already off. Let me throw this disclaimer in. The views
A10 News Media Group, because that's who I'm a part of. A10 News Media Group.
These views of Winters are not those of A10 News Media Group. You a lie.
I'm a part of A10. You told me I was A10 News Media Group forever.
Yeah, but I don't mean get me in trouble.
Nikki told me as long as it's A10 News Media Group, it will always be a home for Winters Hall. You know, Mickey was the only one to give me a shot. The rest of them passed on me. They didn't see my star quality and my ability to be a star. But Mickey seen my star quality.
Technically, they say I'm not smart, so that's what the people say. That's what they say. I'm just telling you.
And I agree, real, because the people that you was messing with. But then when you found a star,
let me mute this and play.
People that love positions because of the age. Everybody want to be a sweet.
Sure. You just make sure you get that 300,000 everybody know. Okay? Make sure you get back to this closing line. You will. Oh, but don't trip, because you don't get your 50,000. We know you don't get it. We know you don't get your 50,000. Right.
People that love positions because of the age.
Did everybody hear that?
Yeah, they heard it. My bad. I gotta take my phone off.
Yes. See, you always hollering at me. So that right there was a video clip. And after I wanted to tell Councilman Mays to quit shoving that damn microphone down his throat so we could hear. But that was Tanya Burns telling Candace, you something about your $300,000. You just trying to get your $300,000. And Liddell said, she will. You can hear her say it. It's clear as day. And then Tanya said, oh, and your $50,000. And she said, I am.
And good morning, cuz, for bumping with us this morning. Sheikah, go ahead. And Carolyn.
Hey, everybody. They have like no remorse. They don't care no more. Like these are criminal statements. Don't you agree?
From criminals.
I mean, really. Like, you taking ARPA money from the people, and the people ain't got not one shingle on their house, but they don't have a problem with it. I mean, how does that make y'all feel? Or is it just me? That's all I'm saying.
Good morning, Fast Eddie and Karen Malone, Joshua. Thanks for bumping with us. You know, I gotta highlight the people, man. That's what I do. I highlight the family. But I mean, that's just like Cussing Gate. We'll have to do a deep dive in the Cussing Gate.
Cussing Gate.
Yeah, Cussing Gate.
Cause the stormtroopers came out.
Mm-hmm.
The Ladella lights.
No. The Baby D lights.
The Baby D lights.
Yeah.
The Holiday Hearts.
Holiday Hearts, cool.
The Holiday Hearts came out and stomping the Facebook ground full of deals saying that A10 was lying. We listened to Maurice. That didn't happen. So I guess, that's another pastor that they calling a lie. Pastor Gilbert was lying. Maurice was lying. The people in the Southwest and everybody was lying.
I just wonder because it said it was a vice principal was there. I wondered, did she report it?
You know what? I want to find out.
That's why they probably don't want them cell phones in the school.
Because people can record stuff like that.
Now this should let you know what type of person Liddell Lewis is. I mean, I ain't gonna so much judge her. I'm talking about the people who protect her. Because I seen it was a whole post written about that she didn't cuss. I wonder, was the lady who wrote it was even in there?
No.
She wasn't even at the school, but she come out with blind loyalty.
Yeah.
And we wonder why the schools is in the condition that they're in.
I'm just saying.
It goes back to the principals you hiring.
I mean,
for a vice principal to even sit there and they talking about the kids is lawless. I'm looking at the principals up in there like, I don't get it.
Right. Joshua Randolph. Now you understand why Mays calls them the Shady Bunch, right?
Yeah.
Oh, John Pony. I look elegant today. Thank you. That's different.
She's on her Black Power movement.
No, actually, I got to go to a Christmas program at my daughter's school.
And I do agree with this from Michelle Pfeiffer.
Nobody
Good
goes
morning.
to jail, so they're lawless. Hey, First Lady. Yes, they right. Nobody goes to jail, Michelle. So they don't care anymore. And I think that's just wrong.
I got you, fam.
So, oh, that's your family. Yeah, Sheikah cousin. Jordan. Hey, cousin Sheikah. Sheikah Jordan. So, listen, let me tell you what I want to start out with today.
Come on with it.
Because we only have an hour, and then I really want you guys to stay on for Dr. Padroni. He will be live in the studio today with a couple of guests that you do not want to miss. I'm telling you. I'm so mad I got to go to this school for this program, but I'm going to be tuning in with my little earplugs in. Instead of listening to all them little kids hollering and stuff, but I'm gonna do my best. But make sure you stay. What? The children? Oh, you looking at the? I'll put it up there.
No way. no way. Keep going.
Well, you know what? We can ask that question today on Solutions. It comes. What time Solutions come up?
Trevor not gonna be here. He is.
He's sick again.
He had to do something for us. I gotta read the text. I think his mother-in-law got to do something. Got to go to the doctor.
Okay. Trevor can't be here with us today, so Clack gonna take over Solutions. What time it come on?
12 o'clock.
12 o'clock. So stay tuned with Michael Clack at 12 o'clock for Solutions.
RJ Cat, good morning.
So we got a good hour. We're going to open up the phone lines in a second. But before we do, let me read to you what's going on today. Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, the circus is coming back to town. And they will be live at 5:30, Wednesday, December 20th, 2023, in City Council chambers. Let me put on my little reading glasses. So we got a notice yesterday from the Office of the City Council, public notice, special City Council meeting. We knew that was coming. We knew it was either going to be today or tomorrow. So they picked today, thank God. So I can rest and go over to the Mott meeting tomorrow at 5:30 if they don't change that again.
Yeah, because they see when you pop up, they changing things.
I know that. See, that's good. I want them to change things when they see A10 pop in the room. So, pursuant to Act 267 of the Public Act of 1976, the Open Meetings Act, notice is hereby given that the Flint City Council will hold a special City Council meeting at 5:30 on Wednesday, December 20th, 2023, in the City Council Chambers, 3rd floor, City Hall, 1101 South Saginaw Street, for the following purposes. Now, listen to the order of this agenda. I need some more people on here. I need about 100 more people. So I need for y'all to go ahead and share. Okay, I see y'all coming on. Come on. And let me tell y'all how they want to do this today. The first resolution, one would think is, probably would think, well, maybe they're going to split up the $40 million and give some money to the citizens. No. The first resolution is suspending council member Eric Mays for conduct unbecoming of a city council member.
He cussed out a pastor?
No.
He cussed a pastor out at the library?
No.
Did he go into high school and cuss out?
No.
In front of another pastor?
No. Did he take a check? No. Well, he did, but he disclosed his.
Right. But he was running for something.
Yeah, that's true. But they saying that he had something to do with he was selling the handkerchief head Negro t-shirts, which he wasn't. They have no proof of. But you know what? I don't think it matters about what proof they have. They just want to suspend him. And I bet you in everything in me that those 5 are going to pass it tonight. Well, hold on.
Yes.
Let's keep reading and then we'll get back. And
okay.
Let me put a pin right there about the 5 people that are gonna come. So, oh, shut up. I was talking to my watch. Right. So let's see. And then the second resolution is censuring council member Jerry Winfrey Carter for conduct unbecoming
She stand up
of
over
a city
somebody?
council member. Nope.
She stand up, she call somebody ghetto?
Nope.
Did she call somebody a hood rat?
Nope.
Was she getting censored for?
Did she hit somebody? Nope. So she's getting censored for, I don't know, they don't like her. So the third thing they want to do is an ordinance amendment for the zoning. You know, that was to help the businesses, not the residents, the businesses. And we talked about that yesterday. Then the fourth one is the marijuana retail adult use license. Matic Real Estate Investment. That's that little man that was mad, that was there after the meeting with the little suit on. Mm-hmm. And he wants to open up his weed shop over in the South Flint Plaza. And then the next one is the resolution allocating the ARPA funding for revenue replacement. That's putting the $40 million into the general fund. That's like putting it into somebody's checkbook, but they ain't writing no checks to you. Then the next one is the Lighthouse Group, high valued vehicle and equipment coverage. The next one is setting a public hearing, amending council rules. Damn, they about to change the rules again. They don't even know the rules that they got.
They didn't change them up. I done got confused.
They confused.
Me too.
So the next one after that is accepting a grant from Charles Stewart Mott Foundation for maintenance of the city parks.
There go them parks again.
And I think that's $620,000. That's a lot of money for some damn parks.
They won't get no roofs, no side, no basements.
They're going to have some pretty parks.
Hey, maybe we can live in a park.
That's what they're going to be doing.
Call it Park Home.
Shut up. Then the next one is resolution. Oh, this is for Candace. Resolution scheduling a special primary and a special general election for the 7th Ward Council seat.
They're trying to keep her on that seat.
No, they're trying to get her out that seat. The next one is a resolution setting public hearing date for the Brownfield redevelopment plan for Carriage Town neighborhood project. Then 2 appointments, one to the citywide advisory committee for Cordell Tipton, and appointment of the board of review for Shannon Cersei.
That name sound familiar.
All the names, they just reshuffle people from boards to boards.
Gotcha.
So this meeting was called by Candace Mushat and Liddell Lewis.
Oh my goodness, Baby D and Jigsaw.
So, what do you guys think about that?
But the first one on the list is to suspend Eric Mays and censor Jerry Winfrey Carter.
The first, yes.
And Liddell is not getting. I think that should be brought up. What up, K6 bumping from the D?
Hey.
Then my cousins down there. Oh, Cersei ran last time. Got it for 7th Ward.
Oh. Yeah. Was that the one who said, never mind, I don't want to do this anymore?
I think so.
Okay. So they all get, they get rewarded when they do something wrong.
Oh, he bringing his people in, ain't he?
Mm-hmm.
He getting them up in there.
Well, Joshua Randolph said, so why no resolution to censor and suspend Eva and Liddell? It would never pass, but it will show the double standard. Right. Well, they had it up there. Which one did they bring? They brought one for Quincy and Liddell. And for 4 or 5 weeks.
And they dropped that.
Every time we got to it, they started acting a fool. And then the meeting would disband.
Now, I'm going to say this. I don't know why. Because ain't Quincy on sick leave? I was reading stuff on Facebook.
Well, word on the street is.
I was reading it on Facebook.
Word on the street. That's all we can say is allegedly and word on the street.
Yep, allegedly.
Is that he's on sick leave. Now, I can tell you only from personal experience because I don't know anything about his situation. But when I was on sick leave from my main job, my attorney advised me not to go to any board meetings. At that time, I was on the Bishop Airport board meeting, and he said, well, because I was out on mental anguish, you should not be making any decisions. But he said, besides that, if you are on sick leave from one job, and it's in the company policy that I work for, if you're on sick leave, you cannot go work at another job, and you just can't do anything else, period. So, I mean, I don't know what the case is with him. And I've been hearing people say, like, how is he coming? But he left early the other day, I thought, to go to work.
Did he?
No. I mean, he left early.
Probably
We seen when Liddell was like, she came rushing back down that aisleway to try to get him to stop.
But I mean, right now, the way they play games in Flint, maybe he might know the owner where he work at. Maybe the mayor got his back.
Well, I don't know.
And he didn't. I hope he kind of stay and get back healthy. Now, I am with that. He can go and heal himself up. Don't get caught in the madness because Candace, them trying to get that 300. And that show you what everything you need to know. They not here for the people. They just want money and trying to bully. That's why that recall is so important to get out there with Miss Beverly Biggs to get Liddell out the way. It probably do Flint 10 times justice when she out the way. You can actually get somebody in the second ward who want to help the people, the residents.
Oh, well, that's true. That's true. I was still stuck on going to work and you on sick leave. But it's another fun fact that the people don't know. Sheldon's cousin is vice president or something like that over there at Lear.
Oh, wow.
Mickey said, oh, wow. So, yeah. So, I mean, it really doesn't. His cousin, what's that man's name? Nard Fox or Nard something is supposed to be Sheldon's cousin. So
it's terrible.
I think it's crazy, but oh well.
Yeah, it's terrible.
So what else do we have to talk about? The phone lines are open. I mean, we're here for a short few more minutes until Dr. Petroni comes on. Wednesday is our short day. So you guys call in. Let us know
what you want to talk about. Renee. It's all about
It's about you guys today. We want to talk to you and hear what you guys got to say. And like I said, don't forget to tune in at 10 o'clock for Dr. Petroni and his guest who will be live in the studio. And then tomorrow, y'all, the last interview of the year for the Winters Hall show. I'm very excited. Carol McIntosh and my girl, Dr. Danielle Green. And the first caller of the day.
The call will start at the beep.
Good morning, caller. You've been bumped in. What's your name and where are you calling from?
Hi, this is me calling from St. Louis.
Hey, St. Louis.
Them two women are some nasty, trifling bitches.
Oh, Lord.
They are. Nikki, I'm sorry, but they are some nasty, trifling bitches. And they should be off of the council. That Mary Neely, that's a nasty, trifling MF.
Yes, I agree.
And I don't blame nobody but the residents, because the residents need to come out wall to wall.
Mm-hmm.
So if they don't get nothing, like I said, that's because you don't want nothing.
Right.
But if you want your roof fixed and your basement fixed, damn it, get your ass out there and vote for what you want.
That's right. That's right. And that's true. We got to do a better job of voting. We got to do a better job of vetting the people that we vote for.
But I will say this. When God moved on Mr. Mays' behalf, all them trifling motherfuckers gonna be up out of there. Every last one of them.
Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
And y'all have a good day.
You too, baby.
Happy early Merry Christmas.
You too. She ended so sweet. Love you. Thanks for bumping with us. See you tomorrow.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye. I mean, well, this is the show. You call in and express yourself. We won't censor you. They do that up there at council. They let you cuss at council because they say it's your freedom of speech. So you got freedom of speech on here to tell how you feel. But it just puts me in a gloomy mood. The residents are suffering. It's Christmas time. And you ride up and down the streets, see people still getting their water shut off, see people getting evicted. You see tarps on people's roofs. And the first two things you want to do is put out Eric Mays for 90 days and censure Jerry Winfrey Carter. And we don't even know what's that all about. And I think that is just so wrong. Nothing else? You couldn't do nothing else? What are you guys saying on here? Let's Tony said you felt that in your soul when she did. She let it out. And let me see. I'm trying to read some of the comments this morning. Phone lines are open, guys. 810-207-5058. I know we're going to have a hell of a show tomorrow because we're going to be right back down there tonight at 5:30. Mickey, you think it's going to go all night tonight?
You think it ain't?
Yeah, I hope it. I hope they just get right to business. I hope that they get in the Christmas spirit before they get there and don't suspend Councilman Mays, because that's a sad day in hell when the first ward will be without a voice for 90 days. 3 months. Mm-hmm. I mean, 3 months. Y'all hate this man that much that y'all want to let the residents suffer. And do you think that they will show up? I mean, do you really think that everybody will show up? That's crazy. We got Eva, we got Candace, we have Liddell, we have Quincy, and we have Judy. I think that they are upset because the recalls have been submitted against most of them. The recalls have been successful. Eva will be on the ballot. Candace was upset when she seen that Attorney Kim has signed off on that resolution to put her on the ballot. So I think they on some real get back stuff. And it's painfully obvious that it's not about the residents anymore.
Never been about the residents. It's been about fattening their own. And that's what's sad with Flint. How is people, just to be honest, like, how do we keep getting these same people that's just getting in? It seems like Flint don't have nothing but robbers and thieves to serve on these council, school board, ethics and accountability board, every board, where it's not helping the citizens of Flint. Like Liddell right now, her biggest thing, we got to get Mays up out of here. I'm wondering if they're going to censor her for how she cut up, but you see her people come, oh, she didn't do this, wrote a whole what's her name, wasn't even there. I wonder, like I say, I wonder how they're going to deal with that.
Right.
Like, she studied showing out in public.
Shout out to Angie Mack. I don't know who you are, but baby, you got a lot of followers and we appreciate you for following and sharing our stuff and having our back. So shout out to you, Angie Mack.
A true hero.
You called her a hero?
Hell yeah. She handled it.
Mickey called her a damn hero.
She handled all that lying.
She did. She confronted the lion head on, and we appreciate you. And so thank you for all of that you do, because you don't have to do it. You get a lot of people that have a following and they do a lot of hating.
Oh, I hope Fast Eddie said Liddell said she was on Channel 12 saying she will not run again. I hope they run it back to Maryland. We love you, the DMV, but take her back.
She's not gonna run again, but she got three more years to go.
Yeah, she
y'all
trying
know
to get
this
that
was
money.
A 5-year term.
Yeah, she trying to get that money. Her whole thing, I believe if she do, if she knows she get recalled, I think she probably gonna say she gonna go on the bounce. But don't leave with the money. Just leave. Let the money stay here because you wasn't here for the citizens. What you got, ain't nothing we can do about it.
Her Cyrus Park Association. I mean, and then yesterday, y'all, we didn't even have time to digest it because it was still going through my soul. Do you all think that she should be banned from the Flint schools? I mean, if they doing background checks on the parents and they could before they can come in there and sit in on the kids' classes because they don't want them acting a
What do
fool.
you feel about the vice president? I mean, the vice principal.
Who is the vice principal at Southwestern?
Yeah, because is this the type of lawlessness that the vice principal letting go down?
I don't know, but I can't wait till 12 o'clock. Clack, we got questions for you on solutions. If you don't want to talk about it, we understand, and we'll stay away from that because I don't want to put you in any type of, mismatch with the Flint Board of Education. So if you don't want to talk about it, let us know.
I really do feel like the vice principal, somebody needs to be right at her or him, whoever it is. I'm not for sure.
Chrissy Carmichael did the. I'm laughing at your comments.
Because she do need to be. I mean, I'm just saying this is what needs to be talked about. When kids see adults acting like that, and then they want to say, "Well, the kids." No, the adults is lawlessness. Mm-hmm. She can go out and cuss. She don't care what she cuss at. She do this, and then what'd be funny? Did you see that picture with her and Chris Martin standing together? And that's what I'm saying. You got these type of people, and to put that out there.
Where is my unofficial cousin? That somebody tagged my unofficial cousin, Shanetta Woods, Tony Wiggins, Arthur Woodson. I mean, somebody tagged those people for me because, hey, Becky, Mickey just asked me, did I see that picture? You want to put the picture up there?
I mean, I can.
Because I don't think everybody's seen that picture.
I mean, I'm just looking at it.
No, I can't even move forward until you put that picture up there.
I ain't got it on me.
You ain't got it? Want it. Let me send Mickey that picture because I think that this is a picture that everybody needs.
This is why the is in the problems that they in
because of this picture.
Nah, I'm talking about the stuff they letting people get away with. And then they want to blame.
Things I want you to post up there.
It's enough problems we got.
No. I'm serious. Like this is a good one. Shut up, Mickey. You
the only one serious.
Shut up. Serious. Can you put that one up there first? I want everybody to be aware of that one.
It ain't came.
There it is right there.
Oh, it ain't came yet.
You didn't see that? I just seen it. Sign the recall.
No.
So that's what's going around. So you got to let me know when it's on the screen.
I'm gonna put it on the screen. I'm gonna put it up on the screen. I'm just saying it do probably need to be shared more for people can really see what we're dealing with. And I'm not mad.
So recall Liddell. We cannot continue with her and the Shady Bunch. Sign the recall. Ward 2, Liddell Lewis. Call Mrs. Beverly Biggs at 810-610-4599 for more information. So she has a lot of people that's trying to track her down. You guys take a screenshot of this. It's in Flint Politics Reboot. It's on Art's page. It's on my page. It's on everybody's page. So
and Miss Beverly Biggs will be going out today. So we need 15 to 20 people to help Miss Beverly Biggs. And it's funny that they're doing it on a council day.
Mm-hmm.
You know, that they trying to. So we need y'all to support Miss Beverly Biggs.
Yes.
Help her, to get this madness because it is really, truly sad.
And it's sad all over the city. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It's sad all over. This is the picture that Mickey was talking about.
Let me blow it up. And this is, I don't know if this was before she cussed Maurice out, but this is the type, now this is what she hang with. These are the people she hang with. That's her pastor
and her first lady.
These are the people she hang with.
That's her pastor, Pastor Chris Martin. You're going to have a lot of
people mad about this, though. I can tell.
No, I'm just saying, we're not talking bad. We're just showing the picture of her pastor, Chris Martin, and he's very active in politics.
Thank you, Felicia.
And That's Lydell.
These are leaders supposedly of the community. I wonder when they're gonna call her and check her.
Fast Daddy, I was waiting for y'all.
I mean,
I was waiting for y'all, baby.
And you see the fake smile she put on, but she cussing in front of kids.
Talk about them fake
she cussing in the school, but this is why Flint schools get a bad rep.
Mm-hmm.
Now I'm wondering, is the vice principal? I wonder what the principal gonna do, since he's seeing the vice principal just let her go out. She should have been immediately escorted off the premises.
Right, the principal, the vice principal. I mean, Maurice is security. So hell, he should have put her out.
I wonder how the Ethics and Accountability Board gonna spin this.
Because that's unbecoming of a council person.
Decorum.
You should have seen Mickey's face when he said that. Decorum. His eyes got big and everything. But that's unbecoming of a council person. For her, I mean, she been running around town cussing out everybody. Everybody. She don't like what you say. She cussing you out. It just don't matter what she's gonna cuss you out. Oh, look, we got a whole bunch of people coming in today. Like I told y'all, 10 o'clock is going to be a great day. 10 o'clock. Stay tuned for Dr. Petroni and his guests, because they are live in the studio. And one more time, tomorrow at 6 o'clock, you don't want to miss the last interview of the year with Danielle Green, Dr. Danny, and Carol McIntosh. It's going to be an awesome, awesome show. That's tomorrow at 6 o'clock. But today at 5:30.
Oh, what a day.
Oh, what a day. Today at 5:30, we have a special city council meeting again, where they want to get rid of Eric Mays for 90 days and censure Jerry Winfrey Carter. Those are the first two things they want to do. That's their city business that they standing on, that they want to talk about. Again, what do you guys think about it? Can you just put some of the comments up here? Because they're not calling today. 810-207-5058. You guys feel free to call in. Tomorrow, I may be hype again. Oh, wait a minute. Maybe y'all was calling. Y'all had the phone on silent. My bad, y'all. But it was funny yesterday because I had my mama. She was on the phone talking about ski. Everybody in Flint was hollering ski yesterday. We was hype. We was hype yesterday. But people need to come. You need to come down there to the council meeting today. Even though if we get 2 or 3 people, I'm doing my job. I implore you all to come. You need to see what's going on. Don't let them get rid of Eric Mays for 90 days. People, please, don't let them do this. Because if they are successful with doing this, I believe, then they will go to the governor. It will give Sneally enough paper trail or whatever he's looking for to go to the governor to have him removed, and therefore he won't be able to run for any more any other public offices. And I think that's what they're trying to do. Don't let that happen. Do not let that happen at all. Come down there. Wards 1, Wards 5, Ward 6, you need to show up too. Because remember, it was Tanya first. Jasmine. Hey, Jasmine. I think I missed you yesterday. Mays tried to suspend Lewis and Murphy for 6 months, and that opened up Pandora's box. And Priestley thanked him for letting them know they could suspend that long. Well, you know what? He did that after they tried to suspend him the first time. So he was just returning the favor, but he knew it wasn't going to happen. But he was just showing them, like, it don't feel good, do it?
Call or 2 to decline. The call will start at the beep.
Good morning, caller. You've been bumped in. What's your name and where you're calling from?
Hey, it's Lemon Herbert calling from Pompano Beach, Florida. I just want to say this. I've been watching council meetings ever since Kincaid, from off of YouTube, of course. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know one thing about Mays. The only time he gonna act up is when y'all go against some rules.
Right.
He a strickler for the rules. That man's been supportive for the first war ever since day one. Y'all, please come out there and support him. Y'all see y'all got him backpedaling. I told you, all that protesting, you got to go in there and show up. Y'all got them backpedaling right now. Words are leaving. But Metcalf coming in there, got to get their stuff out. They crashing. Liddell fussing with Priestley. It's time. Y'all got to go ahead and put the nail in the coffin. Please come out and support Maze tonight, y'all.
Right.
Y'all have a nice day.
Thank
What's up,
you,
Nick?
too.
What up with you, good brother?
Thank you for calling from Florida. Thank you. But that's what Art and I talked a long time yesterday. Well, not like all at once, but off and on. And Art kept saying that. He was like, listen, we got them. We got them. They coming out, they trying to defend stuff. And you know when they get nervous when they come out on Facebook trying to defend every action, every move. Don't give up now. Flint, we need you today. We need all 200 people that's watching. We need you to call somebody and tell somebody to come to City Hall today, 5:30. Don't let them do this to Eric Mays and Jerry Winfrey Carter. Please don't. Caller, you've been bumped in. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, you guys, this is B. So I have a question,
Hi, B.
right? So if they try to remove Mays tonight, wouldn't he be able to have some type of recourse by fighting it? Because everybody could clearly hear Candace Mushat, the young lady in the 7th Ward, use a derogatory name against 6th Ward Councilwoman. And then also, you also remember that Quincy Murphy referred to Dennis Pfeiffer as a monkey. You know, remember that in council the other night when he said the monkey in the room, and then he looked at Councilman Dennis Pfeiffer, referring to him about that incident. So it should be some type of recourse that. But anyway, forget all of that. I thought that Eva Worthing resigned. Was that an immediate resignation, or she was just not going to be on the ballot for the May election? Because there's a lot of dynamics going on. I'm kind of lost.
She said she was resigning. She didn't want her name on the ballot, so I think she's gonna stay there until May. So that's not really a resignation. I think the girl was just looking for some
attention.
Right, as Mickey said, she was just looking for some attention. That's all that was. B.
Okay. All right. So thanks for the clarification, because I'm a little lost. It's a little busy, but I'm a little lost but I'm still trying to understand. If Mays, wouldn't the Ethics and Accountability Board be able to step in if they decided to remove Eric Mays for 90 days? Wouldn't that be something they would be able to
reverse?
Interject?
I mean, well, we hope so, but B, I'm gonna tell you, like, I don't know where you're from or anything like that, but it's only 2 people on that ethics.
I'm from the 6th Ward.
Oh, okay, you're on the 6th Ward. Well, it's only 2 people on that Ethics and Accountability Board that I see that's gonna stomp hard and stand on it. That's that new lady that they got on there. Her name is, what's that lady's name? She's sitting right next to Carol, Miss Danster, Billy and Carol McIntosh. Those are the only 2 people that I really see that's consistent. Now we got others that sometimes speak up, for stuff, but I'm talking about as consistent, standing on, they firm on what they say. So I don't think if it make it to the ethics board, Trishelle ain't gonna do nothing but hit the ball right back out the park. I mean,
gotcha.
The last time I went to the meeting, they still talking about writing a damn letter to Clyde for him to apologize. And
Clyde the Glide.
He gonna glide right through that letter. So no, I think the Ethics and Accountability Board is ineffective, except for those 2 members. And that's my honest opinion.
Gotcha. Okay, you guys, thanks for the clarification, and I appreciate it. You guys enjoy it. Keep on bumping.
Thank you so much. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Well, basically, as you can see, it's lawlessness, and that's why Liddell can
Why
do.
Why you talking so low?
Because they can hear me in the mic. I'm looking at my levels.
Okay, I didn't know they could hear you. That was whispering.
How am I whispering to the mic?
I don't know, dog.
You're crazy this morning.
I know.
All right, Jigsaw cousin.
Oh, you call me Jigsaw cousin. I'm gonna call you Holiday Heart cousin.
No way.
Now she gonna have some more dreams about you.
That's
Keep playing
Baby
with
D.
me.
That's Baby D.
Keep playing
she
with
dreaming
me.
about me and that candy.
Keep playing with me. But you notice when she's at council meeting and they say something to her, or she gets upset, or as you know what I'm saying, she gets that little smirk on her face. Like, I want you guys to pay attention to her facial expressions tonight. When she gets upset or she thinks something is going to go her way, she gives you that little like, I don't care what y'all say, I got my 5 votes. You think Eva gonna show up for that same madness again?
Quincy shouldn't if he on sick leave.
I hate that. Yeah, but then, like they said, hell, Sheldon cousin right there at Lear. What's gonna happen to him?
Have him straight.
But that's gonna open up Pandora's box for everybody else at Lear.
But if he collecting, because that mean other people can say I can do my sick leave and still go collect another paycheck. So you're gonna be paying. Right. You saying you can't come to work. But if that's allegedly if he is on sick leave, that's all I'm saying. Right, allegedly, because we don't know. We don't know, so we just putting it out there, allegedly, and word on the strizzy.
The call or two to decline.
Hey, Tia, thanks for bumping.
The call will start at the beep.
Good morning, caller. You've been bumped in. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, y'all, this is Tia. I'm calling from here, there, and everywhere.
Hey, Tia, boo-boo. How you doing, baby?
I'm good. I want to say shout out to 810. I thank y'all for everything that you are doing for the community because you have sparked the movement. I also wanted to remind everybody that being an activist, it costs. And Miss Beverly didn't ask me, to do any of this because, she's out there with a walker and driving and, getting out of these people's homes to get these signatures. And I just want to ask everybody, if you feel led, drop Miss Beverly's Cash App in the comments, y'all. And let's help her with her gas. And, if she want to go to a restaurant or have the ability to stop and eat while she out getting these signatures, because this is a critical time right now. Mm-hmm. And, like I St. Louis, boo, I love you. You said everything I needed to say. She said it exactly like it sounded in my head.
What's her Cash App, Tia? What is Miss Beverly's Cash App? Do you know? You know her Cash App for the people?
I think I have it. Let me look.
Okay, she can look and see. If not, can somebody call Pastor Reed real quick and see if he got it?
It's Beverly Biggs Levy. It's her name.
Okay.
And the dollar sign in front of it. I'm driving. I can't text it, but okay. I just want to ask everybody. Take a minute. You know what I'm saying? Even if it's 5, 6. Give her something because that lady is disabled. It's cold as hell outside, and she's taking her own gas and her own. And I'm like, she's an elder.
Dollar sign Beverly Biggs Levy.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. Y'all, let's come together. I mean, it doesn't matter. Whatever you give from your heart.
That's
because
right.
I respect that. Right. And I respect them 3 sisters that went to the podium and held it.
I know you was happy. I know you was happy. I know you was happy because that's all you screaming about. Protest, stand together, get up there, stand on business. You was the first person I thought about when they did it. That's why I told Mickey, put the camera on them.
Oh my God.
That right there, that was my sister soldier moment. When I tell you the chills ran through my body, I mean, girl, if I could have telepathed myself to Flint that day, I would have. Mm-hmm. That was historical. Now, if y'all want to put some in the art museum or put a clip together, please, y'all, do that right there. Right. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
And I would love to see a good clip with the Panther soundtrack in the background. You know that song where they sung, "We will not bow down to racism. We will not bow down to discrimination, because it was like various artists like Mary J. Blige, T-Boz, Aaliyah. You know, this was a song from the Panther soundtrack in the 90s.
Okay.
And that song is so inspirational. But, you know, Flint, y'all keep doing what you do, because I'm telling you, the whole world is watching you. The whole world, we with you. We with you. I don't care if it take my last dollar. I'm going to keep giving.
Well, you make sure you get to the right ones, baby.
Oh, yeah. Y'all be careful. Don't fool with, what's his name?
We ain't going to say his name.
Anyhow, but anyway, look, y'all don't be deceived by people talking about they handing out water and all this stuff. And this was pictures from 2014. And please don't buy no books and none of that mess. But, you know, I just want to, again, I want to thank you all. And I thank y'all for being who you are, and especially Art. Art just don't know, man. We got people down here that want him in our city. Hell, we like, shit, we'll take him. We'll find him my house.
Absolutely.
We got some stuff going on down here.
All right.
You know, so
I got some more callers, baby. I hate to rush you, but we got 10 minutes left for Dr. Padrone to come up.
Baby.
Okay.
Power to the people.
All right.
Let's go, Flint.
10-4, good buddy.
10-4.
Bye-bye. Callers, you guys call back, please. Call us back. Here we go. Good morning, caller. You've been bumped in. What's your name and where you calling from?
Hey, this is Kermit. Good morning, family.
Hey, Kermit. How you doing? Are you feeling better?
I'm still a little under the weather. I wish I could come to the meeting tonight.
You said you can't come tonight.
But I want to let you know I will be there in spirit. Y'all keep them here tonight, okay?
We usually 18 is going to be sitting there quietly because we don't want to get put out. But you know, the rest of them, we encourage the people to be passionate.
Right, that part. I got you. I just want to say good morning, and I'll see y'all after Christmas, I guess.
All right then, baby. You take care of yourself, all right?
You get better, Kermit.
All right, most certainly will.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Bye. So, y'all, we got about 7 more minutes before I turn over the reins to Dr. Petroni and his 2 special guests. Oh, I can't wait. It's going to be a hell of a show. Y'all, I'm telling you, don't drop off for this one. Don't drop off. We need everybody here for that. So one more time, Miss Beverly Biggs Levy, $ Beverly Biggs Levy. And right now, also, while you guys are in the spirit of giving, because 'tis the season to be jolly, this is a time where we acknowledge our visitors. If we have any visitors attending with us today, you don't know, but this is where you can also give to A10 News Media Group, $ A10 News Media Group on the Cash App. We appreciate everything that you are able to give to us. $1 will help.
To decline. The call will start at the beep.
Good morning, caller. You've been bumped in. What's your name and where are you calling from?
This is John Tony.
John, this is weird. It's suspicious.
It's all weird and suspicious. How you doing today?
I'm doing wonderful.
Doing great.
Thank you.
How you doing, good brother?
Look, if you know anything about fighting, anybody been down to Burston or you got them on the ropes. But let me say this analogy. If you're in a house and you got billions of dollars in cash laying all around, but the house is on fire, and you know you only got a couple of minutes to get out, are you going to just jump out the window and run and leave all that cash there? Or are you going to have a tendency to try to grab as much as you can, stuff it in your drawers and your pockets and everything in your hands, and then jump out the window? What are we going to do?
Right. I feel you.
This is what they're doing. They're trying to grab as much as they can and cut their losses and jump out the window. They jump and ship because they see that they're losing the support. And they see that the people are activated. Those people were scared. They were scared when the people started standing up and they started singing them old gospel songs and stuff that
was.
Mays was leading and stuff.
They didn't understand what it meant.
They can't. It's like in the 60s and 70s, and they. Oh, wait a minute. We don't know how they might riot.
Right.
If they riot, because they know if they riot, they not gonna just be tearing up stuff. They coming for their tail.
Right.
They gonna get some licks.
Right.
Or worse.
Right.
You know.
Right.
When the people lose it, they're scared.
You're absolutely right.
So we got them on the ropes, but like I said, we still have to have the organization and the people that we want to put to replace them. Otherwise, they're going to get those other people in there. And they need Flint, please, get out there. If it's 5 people, if it's 10 people, get in contact with Beverly Biggs, with Arthur, Trevor, whoever, who are out there getting these recall votes. Don't let them come up short.
Right.
Because of a few votes. Get out there and do what you can. You can't do everything, but do what we can do. I wish I was there where I could do it.
Right.
I'd get in the car right now and say, where you at?
You got 10 seconds, John, because we got to wrap up.
Okay. God bless y'all. Be safe. Money's coming, and I appreciate you. I need to talk to you about the money.
Okay.
But I don't know how to get in touch with you. Well, all right.
You know how to get in touch with me. You can inbox me, and I'll give you my number. You can get in touch with me.
I don't know how to do the inbox and stuff with this. I'm still trying to figure out the platform, the Facebook platform.
Well, I'll help you out. I'll get to you.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you so much.
God bless.
Thank you, Brother Pony. Thank you.
Right.
Bye-bye. Well, that was our last caller for today. Mrs. Beverly Biggs Levy is in the comments. She is receiving the cash apps because she said thank you. So I guess a couple people have cash apped her already. Again, the deal must go. Her phone number 810. I can't remember exactly what it was, but it was on the flyer.
810-610-4599.
See,
don't ask me how I know 3 digits and 4 digits.
I know you good with numbers, aren't you?
I can remember.
810-610-4599 is for Mrs. Beverly Biggs Levy. If you need to sign a petition, if you would like to get out there and donate and help her, donate gas money, lunch money, whatever the case may be, help the sister out. Because she's out there and she's standing on her business.
And she's not doing it for selfish reasons. She's doing it really to help the citizens of
right.
Flint.
So a couple more minutes before I leave off of here. Another shout out to a guy that's been down with us since day one. Flint Caskets.
Oh, most
I
definitely.
hope to have Flint Caskets on Flint Caskets and Memorials LLC. www.flintcasketsandmemorials.info is their website. Check them out. He will be on with us in January. We're going to be bringing on people from our community that can help us out. We got some subjects that we need to talk about, and death is one of them. We need to pre-plan. A lot of Black folks don't pre-plan. Right. We use that GoFundMe when we die, but we can take care of that while we living. Also, don't forget tomorrow about the Mott Community College Board of Trustees meeting. That will be at 5:30 at the Mott College. I forgot which building it's going to be in, but I'll let you know more about that tomorrow.
We'll be there, right?
We will be there tomorrow.
In the building.
But we got the interview at 6:00 with Carol and them.
What time it start?
5:30. So
might have to do the pre-record.
Okay, so I can do it. Okay, so we'll figure out the pre-record so we can be there live.
Pre-recorded today. What's today? Wednesday. Yeah,
today is when. Well, we got the council meeting today. We'll figure it out.
We'll probably pre-record it
tomorrow early afternoon.
Early after we did done with the morning bump. Probably after we do Trevor's show. We probably because Trevor don't come on the 1.
Maybe we'll do a special early edition tomorrow. We'll get with Carol and Danielle and see how their schedule's
so we
looking.
Do a special edition for the Winter's Hall show because that's gonna be a banger.
Ooh, I can't wait for Carol and Danielle. Oh, I can't.
I'm already throwing my disclaimer out. The
Already?
views of Winters, Carolyn, and
jumping off the
Danielle
plane today
will
for
not be
tomorrow?
those of 810 News Media Group, because the way y'all might come out with fire, I might forget to say it. And
Lord
I probably won't
have
even be
mercy.
in the room. I'll probably be in the sitting area.
Well, let
praying.
me tell you where Mickey gonna be at today. At 5:30, he's gonna be on the 3rd floor of City Hall in council chambers with the rest of you. So we are about to switch out with Dr. Petroni and his guests. Please stay tuned. You do not want to miss this at all. Okay, Mickey. All right. Dr. Petroni, how you doing, sweetheart? We already live. People can hear us talking in the background.
I know how it goes.
You got the middle chair, Doc.
I get the middle chair.
Yes, he's a star
Okay.
of the show.
Sit at the right hand of the Father.
Hi.
You go that way.
Yes, sir. I've been
commanded.
What's your last name?
Did
Fast
you,
and
Doc?
Fast.
Thank you.
Fast and Fast.
Fast.
I love your glasses. That's why I'm looking. Good morning.
Oh,
I'm Winters Hall. Nice to meet you.
Likewise, or elbow handshake.
Elbow
There.
handshake. I'm
Do
going
you
to
want,
see.
you want some bagels?
Yes, that's what I'm
All
going
right,
to
so
do.
there's bagels and cream cheese in there, and
Up here in the box.
but
Okay.
note that there's knives there as well. So please.
They didn't bring any locks though, so you know. And you can see Bianca up there. We are live now. Remember this. Yeah.
We are live.
So do we all need these?
Yeah, you can hear her.
Live and in color.
Should move into the frame, I suppose.
You should somehow move it.
You want to? You can also back up. Mickey, how are you going to get us all in the frame?
I'm gonna put y'all in here.
Okay.
One.
You're okay. They can adjust that.
Which is my mic.
On this back.
This one right here.
Thank you, sir.
This is my mic.
Yes, sir.
Mickey, do you want me to move, or do you want me to move, or do you want to back up the camera? Whichever you prefer.
He's going to take care of it. He's going to do it. He's got it.
Let Mickey be
He's
the.
cutting me out now.
I got you.
You have.
Wide body, wide body.
Yeah, let me find it.
You can see Bianca.
So,
Hi,
hi, Bianca.
Hi,
It's good to see you.
seeing you guys.
Yes.
We'll start in
Testing
just a
1, 2,
moment.
3.
Mickey will let us know.
Testing 1, 2, 3.
Am I supposed to have headphones or no?
I think he said yes, but when I put the headphones on, it's awful. I guess
Yeah, y'all.
what the
Yeah,
headphones will allow us to hear Bianca? Is that right? Okay.
But we can hear it now.
You can hear
Aren't
me?
you? Yeah, we can hear it now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
No, I'm hearing her there.
Yeah, it's coming through the headphones.
Oh, is it?
Mm.
Do I need headphones? Well,
Yeah, rather the natural sound like this is better, I think. Why do I look like the shortest?
because you're in the smallest chair.
You guys
And you
gotta-
are short.
Well, come on now. You know, I played when I go to Italy. Everybody thinks I'm going to be a basketball.
I just
star.
came back.
That's
from
very
Italy.
funny.
I got to see you across all crowds.
Bianca, we have bagels and cream cheese if you would like some.
We'll send it to you
Oh,
virtually.
that sounds great.
Mickey, are we ready to go? Okay. Welcome everyone to the latest episode. And I'm Dr. Tom Pedroni, and we have a slightly different focus today than usual. On this show, which airs every Wednesday at 10 a.m., what we usually focus on is activism across the state of Michigan, predominantly Black communities. So we brought in a lot of educational community activists and other community activists to talk about the continuing lack of equity in predominantly Black cities, and particularly the dismantling of Black school districts and the reshaping of predominantly Black cities in the interests of investors. Today, we're going to take it a little bit different path, and it's in response to a lot of global uproar and events happening in Palestine and Israel. And if you're not aware, I don't know where you've been the last 2 months. On the show today, the theme of this show is to try to question some of the basic assumptions that are built into the way that we think about the situation today in Gaza. And all three of my guests today, we have two in the studio. They're both taller than me, unfortunately.
It's a trick of the camera. It's a trick of the camera.
I hate that visual effect.
I'm actually 7 feet with a full head of hair and devilishly handsome. There's something wrong with your equipment.
Yeah, exactly. He was dunking in the parking lot. It was amazing. Bianca's here. Hopefully she's shorter than me, but she's joining us virtually. So Bianca, if you ever have trouble hearing, just let us know, and hopefully we'll hear you okay as well.
Okay, great.
So again, to restate, and then I'll have people introduce themselves. My sense is that there's a lot of us feel like we shouldn't speak out. Like we have to be careful, very careful in what we say, because at its most basic, there's a sense that if you are mourning the loss of Palestinian life in Gaza or the West Bank or wherever, or you are criticizing the current Israeli government, the Netanyahu coalition, Netanyahu farther right coalition that's in power right now, then you must be anti-Semitic. There's a tremendous sense of fear. I email colleagues and they don't respond to me because they don't even want email that gets at any of the topics, including people who are very committed to issues of social justice. So one of my thoughts, and this is actually part one of a two-parter, we're going to have a second part in early January featuring some activists from, well, Bianca is already, but from Wayne State University, including the co-writers of a recent BDS resolution, boycott resolution that passed through the Student Senate. But today it's to really interrogate the notion that Jews somehow automatically support what the Israeli government is doing. So we've brought in three, and thank you so much for joining me, and even more bringing bagels. And we basically have a diversity of people. I'll let them introduce themselves, but just to mention it in a word, Bianca, who is joining us from online, is a student activist on the campus of Wayne State University. She just would have finished her semester, hopefully, her finals and her final papers. And Bianca works with Students for Justice in Palestine, and is hoping also to form a chapter of Jewish Voices for Peace at the Wayne State campus. Then we have Joshua Feinstein over here, who is the Michigan director of Jewish Voices for Peace, and he'll tell you more about that organization.
Thank you for that promotion. I didn't realize that I'm so high up in the food chain.
Well, the salary isn't going to go up.
That's right. They doubled it as you were speaking. 0 times 0 times 2. Yes.
And then Dr. David Fossenfest, who is, if I remember correctly, the child of a Holocaust survivor and professor of sociology at Wayne State University. So Bianca, I'm going to go ahead and let you just introduce yourself first and tell us a little bit about what is going on in the Wayne State community, the Student Organizing Committee.
Yeah, so I'm a junior right now at Wayne State. I actually did some studies also at the University of Toronto in Toronto, Canada. But I'm currently studying communication studies as well as Latino studies at Wayne State. So I'm both Jewish and then I'm Hispanic as well. I'm Dominican and Spanish. Basically what's going on at Wayne State right now, for me, it is deeply disheartening. You know, in the late 90s and early 2000s, Wayne State was doing everything they could to try and get rid of the Latino Studies program, which at the time was called the Chicano Boricua Studies program. And my dad, along with a lot of other community members from Southwest Detroit, ended up saving the program through tons of fighting with administration at the school. So I thought that once that we had got over that hump as a university, that we were this premier urban research university, that, you know, it's amazing, this diversity that we have on campus. Having been in Toronto, which they call like this melting pot city, it is not as diverse as Wayne State's campus. Wayne State has an extremely diverse campus. And I thought the school was finally accepting of different ideas, different opinions, and the realities of all the different races and ethnicities on campus, which includes Palestinian students. And I was very, very sadly mistaken because when I saw that the BDS resolution had passed Student Senate, I thought it was a no-brainer that the Board of Governors would follow suit and pass it, as they do with a lot of things that Student Senate does. But I had no idea how deeply insidious it had become, with campus administration just completely silencing Palestinian students, not allowing them to speak out, ripping down posters, having a double standard when, Zionists, mainly Jewish students, do things as opposed to when Palestinian students and their allies do things. And it's been really disappointing watching the school who, does all of this promotion about how diverse the campus is, completely shutting out an entire pretty prominent student body of Palestinian students and their allies, just because they are marking them as anti-Semitic when they are just talking about their family members that are being killed and bombed, their family members, their friends, or their former home. And so, yeah, what's going on at Wayne State right now is it's not a surprise, but it's really, really disappointing. And I thought once they realized they had to save the Chicano Boricua Studies program, that everything was good. But clearly I felt a need to step in, and the Palestinian students on campus really want Jewish students to stand with them. And so that's kind of the climate of what's going on right now on campus.
Yeah.
Well said. Well said.
Yeah. And just a quick comment. I would add that it's not just the Palestinian or Middle Eastern students, Arab students who are being silenced. It's also Jewish students, right? There's a certain erasure that happens when you don't toe the line of what the university believes all Jewish students must believe and support about the current situation. I'll hand it over to you, Joshua Feinstein. If you just tell a little about yourself, you can connect to what she's just shared as well.
Actually, I'll be brief. My name is Joshua Feinstein. I'm a proud Jewish American. I'm also a peace activist, and I'm a member of Jewish Voice for Peace. So in terms of how I got to there, well, unless you want me, we could talk about it over the next hour. I'm more interested to hearing more of David and Bianca's point of view.
Okay, great.
But we got a whole hour.
You'll jump in. We know that you'll jump in.
Yeah, based on my culture, yeah, we have, what's it called? Discourse by interruption. Yes. All right.
We're waiting for that. Do a lot of that, please. So David, you want to go ahead?
Yes. Hi, my name is David Fassenfest. I've been at Wayne State for, now, I think almost 26 years. In that time, I was around in Calmo when the struggle over the Chicano Boricua Studies program. I remember, sort of the faculty organizing with the community. A colleague would show up with his trunk full of placards to boycott. It was a very strong fight. So my background is, I was born in Europe after the war. My father was a concentration camp survivor. And so for me, what was salient was living through his trauma and my own sort of experience of the trauma. So as early as I can remember, I think I was anti-fascist for what that meant, meaning anti what the Nazis did in Germany. Over the years, I've developed a better understanding of what fascism is as a political philosophy and its variations. And I also was very much identified as a Jew, but in a very sort of secular way. And one of the things that we were talking about earlier that I want to stress here is that much like Hispanics are treated as a homogeneous group, but there's, growing up in New York City, you recognize at risk if you don't understand the difference between Santo Domingans and Puerto Ricans and Cubanos and stuff, that there's not a singular culture. Equally, there's not a singular Jewish sort of identity. The Jews historically and culturally are very different, whether it's your background is from Eastern European Ashkenazi background or North African and Spanish Sephardic background. And then living in Israel for several months in the early 70s, I went nominally to learn Hebrew, and I never could because all the Eastern European Jews spoke to me in Yiddish, which I grew up speaking, and all the North African Jews spoke to me in French so that the Eastern Europeans wouldn't understand. And it becomes, I left Israel with a much better understanding of the cultural diversity that Jews have. And so my experience right now, and also because of my experience, with my parents growing up and what they went through, and sort of the history of the Vietnam War, I'm old enough that I was around for the Vietnam War, and all these excesses that governments do. When we protested the Vietnam War, we were anti-American government, not anti-American. And likewise, so what's happening now in Israel, it's important to recognize that Zionism is not Judaism. Zionism is a particular form, a political philosophy around a homeland for Jews. The history of Zionism included looking for homelands in other colonial states. At one point, they were talking about going to Latin America. At one point, they were talking about creating a state in Africa. Ended up, after the war, using Palestine. So the whole notion of a historical homeland itself is not a fabrication, but sort of a questionable assumption that this has always been. And so my own concerns are that sort of it's almost a McCarthyite type of moment we live in, where people are being silenced for legitimate political reasons. Wayne State, you mentioned this. Detroit is one of the largest Arab communities outside of the Middle East, and the fact that the university, when I first started teaching, I was educated about Chaldeans, for instance, not understanding that not all people from the Middle East are necessarily Muslims. That kind of cultural diversity. So as a university, we harm ourselves by not recognizing the sort of variations and sort of the differences among all its students, and giving specific voice to a particular form of Jewish students, because not all Jewish students are Zionists, and not all Jewish students support a Zionist cause. And so that's what I'd like this
far from it. Far from it. It's not that not all Jews are not. The idea is that it's not that there's a sliver of Jews that aren't Zionists. There are great numbers of Jews who are not Zionists.
There are these preconceptions about all Jews are professionals. And I was just recounting when I came back from Israel, this is in the early 70s, and my father was very happy to, how was Israel and what was it like? And my response was a little bit, churlish as a young man fighting with his father. But I said what was incredible about being in Israel was that the garbage men were Jewish, and the policemen were Jewish, and the prostitutes on the streets were Jewish, and that the cultural, the diversity sort of puts to the test the identity of all Jews being something. And so this is what I'd hope that, and why it is that young Jews today are opposed to what's happening in Gaza and are advocating for a ceasefire and sort of reflecting on the lessons of the Holocaust. Not that they're the same, but that there are consequences and experiences that they learned about, and now they are objecting to what's happening today. So I'll stop with that. And
David, and I know that one of your points has been, I guess I want you to follow on one specific point there. I think one of your points that you've made to me, especially in thinking about the surprise expressed in the media that so many young Jews have sympathy for the massacre that's happening in Gaza and other parts of Palestine as well, that actually the question that you might ask is, what should surprise us is not that so many young Jews support the Palestinian cause, or in any case lament the bombing that is happening, but actually what should surprise us is that so many Jewish people do align themselves with what is happening in at the hands of the Israeli government. Am I putting words in your mouth there?
No, I think you're referencing, there was a New York Times article recently that made a big deal about the intergenerational shift, that older Jewish parents are surprised by their children's reaction to what's going on, and their children's sort of questioning what the IDF is doing in Gaza specifically, and also in the West Bank. And my response to that was that growing up, if I'm any indication, growing up, listening to all these stories, learning about the destruction of one's family history, losing all your relatives in the Holocaust, learning about the treatment of all Jews as being outside and being different, and the persecution, you grow up with that kind of understanding, and you can identify with the mistakes being made by treating all Palestinians as being sort of culpable for what Hamas did in October 7th. Whatever we want to think about that, and I think it was unfortunate and heinous, but to brand all Palestinians that way, they don't understand that. and they object to that. And I was pointing out to Thomas earlier, there was that event, a month or so ago where people stormed an airport because they were maybe Israelis on an airplane and they were looking for Jews. And what the IDF is doing in terms of identifying all Palestinians unilaterally as being pro-Hamas and therefore potential victims that are justifiably killed, it's reversing, and everyone is saying any Jew is therefore culpable for what the IDF is doing because they necessarily defend Israel without any question. And I think that it creates, as Jews, we don't worry about there being reasons to be anti-Semitic. That has been historically always the case. But I think what we concern about is we don't want to give more reasons to justify, sort of anti-Semitic behavior, and to blanketly call any criticism of Israel as anti-Semitic. One only has to look back about 6 months where there were massive demonstrations against the Netanyahu government. Yes. About the Supreme Court changes. And someone sent me a political cartoon where Netanyahu was looking out the window and there were these massive demonstrations with signs protesting. And Netanyahu says to a colleague, who knew there were so many anti-Semites in Israel? Right?
So that's a very interesting point, David. When for me, the most anti-Semitic thing in the world is when one Jew calls another Jew an anti-Semite. To me, that is actually the definition of anti-Semitism to a certain degree. So, and I agree with what David, since the university, I'll say, I agree with David's assertion. The younger generation, like you said, they get it. They get it. In terms of, how did someone like myself wind up in your seat, right? Yeah. I should be out there, writing my checks to AIPAC saying, go get them, go genocide, right? That's what I should, right? Based on my demographic. So in terms of my journey to get to this chair, I was brought up in a household that was very, very staunchly pro-Israeli, very staunchly pro-Israeli. And the philosophy, as a matter of fact, just like during Nazism, Jews were equated with being animals and less than. In the household I was brought up with, I didn't know even what I just knew. And I came from an educated family, but I knew that the information I knew was Palestinian equals PLO equals terrorist. And that's what I was brought up with. So I think my seminal moment that really, it was a journey. But the first thing is in 1995, or so in 1995, at the end of, when the Oslo Accords, when Yitzhak Rabin, who growing up, that was the definition of a hero. And Yitzhak Rabin said, you make peace with your enemies, not with your friends. And he is someone that is still considered a war criminal by the Arab world. But he laid down his weapon. And he said, we're going to make peace. We're going to try to make peace. And then he was assassinated. And I naturally assumed, someone that was an Arab assassinated him. And then I saw in the news, he was killed by a Jewish person. And that was my sort of seminal moment where, like, all of a sudden the equation didn't add up. I said, why would one Jew kill another Jew? And then I didn't even have to dig that deep. In terms of, it was surface level, in terms of Netanyahu was giving speeches saying Rabin's a traitor. He's a traitor to his people. He should, and similar to Trump inciting an insurrection, Netanyahu had a big hand in sort of inciting Rabin's assassination. So that was like step A, where I was like, this does not add up. And then being a New Yorker and working downtown, I started to, growing up, I didn't interact, mixed crowd, the bad joke, mixed crowd was doctors and lawyers, right? But, growing up, working downtown, I started to interact with Muslim people, and they were very normal. They were just, we were all at work, we'd laugh sometimes, fight sometimes. And then 9/11 happened. And when you live in New York City, as you know, David, we all have our little bodega, our place where we go down to the corner, and there we get our newspapers. We don't get we get our coffee elsewhere. We get our newspaper and maybe a chocolate, sneak it from the house, and this one particularly in Park Slope, it was very typical. There was about three young Yemeni guys, or three guys from Yemen, very young, and they basically, what they do is they work for a year and then they take a year off, and you see them sort of grow up. So we develop a relationship over time, After 9/11, about 2 days later, I go down, and kid's 14 years old, and he's behind the counter, and his entire face is black and blue. I mean, black and blue. And I said, my God, what happened? And he looked at me like a domestic violence person that suffered and just said, nothing, I fell. Nothing, I fell. And to me it was, and to me it was very clear that he had been attacked, and he based on, and so that was that next seminal moment that sticks in my head, you know. And then, you know, so fast forward in terms of moving out here to Michigan, where there is a large Arab American population, and then being able to just interact with people. And my wife and I were very frustrated about the narrative and about how people are treated in terms of their background. So I said, what do we do? Well, we that's when we started to really get involved around 2017. You know, only 5 years ago was really when we said we have to do something. We have to do something, you know. And so again, not the world's greatest journey, but it, you know, there's logic in how I got to sit in this seat. Chair, right? Yes. Right. Yeah. So anyway, back over to you, Tom. Yeah.
And David, if you don't mind, could you also tell us, I mean, not all the audience will be familiar with Jewish Voice for Peace, other than it comes up once in a while in the news that the Grand Central Station was taken over by Jews protesting the treatment of Palestinians. What's that all about? So if you could just say a little bit about that. And I know we can do some organizing right now, because Bianca, from what I've heard, is also interested in potentially starting a chapter of Jewish Voice for Peace on the Wake State campus.
So as a member of Jewish Voice for Peace, and thank you, you changed my name to David, which is good too, because no, that's okay. I don't mind, as long as Joshua, David, they're both high-ranking officials. You know, one was a king, was a Jew. Yes, well, you're much more handsome, sir. So at the end of the day, you know, Jewish Voice for Peace is very much a means to an end. All it is an organization that is helping shed light. The important thing is to fight for a free Palestine and fight for equity, justice, equality, to fight for a life for the Palestinian people, because as a Jew, I honestly believe that is the best way for long-term safety and security of the Jewish people, you know? So that's my thought about that. But that being said, I'm a big admirer of Bianca in terms of, you know, when you talk about people that actually work in the Jewish Voice for Peace space, you know, Bianca's really put herself out there. And I think she represents the future. And again, the young people that are like, you know what, my eyes are open. I'm going to do something. I am going to change the world. So Bianca, is there anything, you know, I would like you to sign some autographs later, by the way.
Yeah, of course. I know we have to meet on campus, because I want you to help me with my JVP chapter on campus. But I kind of want to, in relation to this organizing, I want to walk back the narrative a little bit about the divide in age, and really talk about it and kind of frame why it's important that we don't only let this go down in history as a movement of youth. Obviously, there are a lot of young people that are out here doing it, and you know, the images that you see, it's all people that are, you know, 15 to 30 years old getting arrested and at all these big events and whatever. But I kind of want to point our attention to one action that happened a few days ago, which is that 18 elderly Jewish women chained themselves to the White House gates and were all arrested, saying to stop committing genocide in their name. And also that I'm currently organizing an event right now with a local child Holocaust survivor who is nearly 90 years old, but has been an anti-Zionist for about between 20 and 30 years now, Renee Lichtman. So that being said, on Hanukkah, we ended up, me and a couple of people from JVP, Detroit's local Jewish Voice for Peace chapter, ended up organizing an action that I really, at the end of the day, I didn't want to organize this, but I had to. Downtown Detroit, for the last maybe 10 years, they've been doing this menorah in the D lighting, where they have this giant menorah sculpture. They have the first night they light it, and then throughout the 8 days, they come back to light it. But the first night is a really big event. And in all of the marketing for the event, at least from one of the partners on the event called the Shul, they made it very clear that this was a Stand with Israel event. They said we are fighting against the darkest enemy in the middle of a genocide being committed, and a very questionably low number of Hamas members actually dying. They just did a lot that incited war. And then at the very end of their communications campaign, they let people know that there were going to be 2 people related to hostages, one released Israeli hostage and one Israeli hostage still being held that were speaking. And so I organized an alternative menorah lighting. They ended up barricading a lot of downtown right before the event. So even though we went out and scouted, we didn't light our menorahs exactly where we wanted to. But, you know, people started calling us anti-Semitic. People started saying things about us. People started saying, come on, it's Hanukkah, whatever. And we also had light boards that said ceasefire. And we ended up going in front of the event. We wanted to just stand at the entrance with the ceasefire light boards. The event organizers clearly hired Detroit police to come out and force. I've never seen so many Detroit police officers in my entire life all in one place. It was insane. It was the entire police force. They told us to keep it moving. They told me multiple times they were going to arrest me. We started picketing, so you couldn't read our ceasefire signs. And then we ended up holding the signs over the fence and saying ceasefire now, as one of the hostage families were talking, but also as other people were talking as well. And though it wasn't our intention to talk over someone talking about their family who's being held hostage, a ceasefire would free their family. As we see, Israel is killing Israelis, an unknown number of Israelis has been killed by Israel. At least 4 confirmed Israeli deaths have been at the hands of Israel. On top of that, there are IDF soldiers that died just from random friendly fire shootings that the IDF will do in Gaza. So that would have saved her family. But something that I wanted to note is that with us, there were people that were older. There were people that were younger and people that were older, all outside of this event, picketing and trying to put our sign over the fence. And there are photos in the Detroit Free Press that they could see our ceasefire signs behind, over the fence. But there were also,
my point only of raising that is that much like the rhetoric is anything opposed to Zionism is anti-Semitism, there's also the notion that reasonable adults, Jewish adults, are in support of what Israel is doing, and it's their children that are creating a problem. And it's this traditional intergenerational, young people are protesting, but when they get older, they get more conservative. So absolutely, you're right. I mean, I'm going to be 75 and I'm out here, sort of saying what I'm saying. So it's not, but what motivated me in part was as this thing started unfolding, I went to a summer camp with children of survivors, and it was a Bundist camp, it was an anti-Zionist camp, and a lot of those people ended up migrating to Israel, and I've maintained contact with them. And what has shocked me is both in terms of the people who I think should know better have reverted to a sort of a mindless support of what's going on and justifying anything. I mean, I was shocked when I read statements that said, Jewish babies, are dead. So who cares about Palestinian babies? And the number of children being killed and just the humanity of it. That's the thing that surprises me, that people who have a history should understand that the inhumane behavior, that the sort of blanket treatment of all Palestinians, ignoring the provocations of settlers in the West Bank, forgetting the fact that the most religious Jews in Israel are opposed to Zionism because they're opposed to the state of Israel. And so it takes me back to this notion that there's this singular presentation of all Jews are X.
Yes.
And in fact, there's a lot of variation. And the other thing I want to say for you is you're really the best example. Did you say you're from Santo Domingo? Is that your
that is where my grandparents are from, Santo Domingo. My abuelo was actually born in Spain during the Spanish Civil War, he had to leave. And
that whole tradition, of a non-European Latin American Jew, Jorge Chinea, who's the head of the Latin American
Studies program. I know Dr. Chinea.
Right. He did a very interesting piece of research that identified the number of Jews in Puerto Rico who were there since the very beginning. And interestingly, he said you can identify them by they're the ones that had pigs tied up in their front yard as a way of fooling the Inquisition, right?
Yeah.
So there's a history of Judaism.
They do the same in the
right? So you represent an important sort of aspect of the multiplicity of Jewish identity that doesn't get reduced to Eastern European or European Jews and the settler colonial sort of behavior. So
my mom's family actually is Eastern European. So my mom's family is from Austria and Germany. My dad's family are the ones that are from the Dominican Republic. And something one more thing I want to raise about the Hanukkah action that we did is that there were a lot of young people heckling us because they're still being actively indoctrinated by all these Zionist Jewish institutions. So I would just want to make the point that there is somewhat of a generational thing that is being presented before us, but I've worked with a lot of people that are older, and I've had a lot of young people heckling me. But on that other note, so yes, my father's family is Hispanic. My mom's family had to leave Germany and Austria because things were getting very tense and very bad. And they're being harassed awfully and had to leave, and then lived in the US as crypto Jews. My dad's family in the Dominican Republic, also, we are uncovering, lived as crypto Jews as well. And had the pig in the yard and the whole thing, right? But the thing about the Dominican Republic is the reason why my family had to leave was US imperialism, was that they made the situation with Trujillo being the dictator, then they didn't like it anymore. And their military occupation, they ended up pillaging my abuela and abuelo's small business and their home, occupying their business, destroying things in their business, stealing things from them, ruining family heirlooms, and they had no choice other than to come to the US. So we see this happening right now with the way that the US is helping Israel completely just destroy Gaza. And so, you wonder why there's so many refugees in the US, or why there's all these different people that are here. And it's like, it's because of US imperialism or proxy wars or all these things. And why do we have, especially as Latino Jews, or even as Eastern European Jews who were pushed out by military occupations and pushed out by being pushed into concentration camps and whatever it was, why do we not sympathize with them? And going back to what you were saying, like, if we have this history of this, we see this unfolding before our very eyes with another population. Where is the alarm? Where is the crisis? Why is everything not stopping? I'm shocked every day to wake up and see, hundreds more deaths, and buildings are just being decimated, and people can't eat. And there's videos of children running out of diapers and people living in tents, and we're all just sitting here watching it. And
that's the hardest part. I'm sorry to cut. That's the hardest part, is that just as a human being to see what's transpiring, that is something, Bianca, when you bring that up, I get a clutch in my heart, just especially being a Jew and having been my family as well. There are many who perished, and there are some who survived, and that's why I'm here today. My mother was born in the forest, or in a barn at the end of the Holocaust in Eastern Europe, and I'm very close with my mother, and I love her very much. She is someone who is very much has been 75 years of really drinking it's not disrespectful to say drinking the Kool-Aid, 75 years of being shown a point of view that more and more was not based on fact, but based on mythos. And with my mother and I, again, we're still very close, but we're not going to see eye to eye. But what I try to appeal to the idea with my mother is our best chance to preserve the security, safety, and future of the Jewish people, because that's really where it's going, and is to not only make peace, but make sure that there is dignity and life for the Palestinian people. And I think if anyone's listening and who, and who's saying this is not a genocide, it is a genocide, or this started on October 7th. No, October 7th, I agree, those actions were deplorable. However, all they did was that event just brought into the public focus 75 years of oppression and subjugation of the Palestinian people, and then it brought it back into the spotlight. So I don't know, Tom, you actually had a question. So
no,
go
it actually
ahead.
connects
Yes.
very well with
Yes.
what you just shared. So the question that was forming in my mind is around, how do we get the information that we know about what is happening there, right? And one of the positive things that has come out of the current moment is the way that information is distributed in non-typical channels. And let me say what I mean. I am someone who I didn't until very recently get a lot of my news off of Instagram. My position was, and I'm in my mid 50s. It was that, gosh, I can't stand to listen to CNN or read the New York Times, even the BBC.
Even the BBC, by the way.
Yeah.
That was a big. Now, I should have known better because of the way the BBC has been funded the last couple of years in terms of that demographic. But seeing the BBC, report And again, I honestly don't think that they think they're doing anything wrong,
no.
but
Yeah.
it's a big disappointment. Go ahead. Yes.
No, you're absolutely
Yeah.
right. It's the assumptions that people bring to the table that they don't even reflect on, the way that they are constructed around the binary that is inherently racist. Like the same questions are not asked of Israeli leadership that is asked of Palestinians. But so with this notion of generational divide as well, I think your point is really well taken, Bianca, and it's important to highlight that there are very regressive young people, Jewish and otherwise, in relation to this question, and a lot of people who are older who are raising serious concerns about what's happening. But there is a significant difference, I think, in how information is gathered, because if it were the case that only those larger traditional news outlets were there, I mean, the best I could do is turn to Al Jazeera to watch that for better news. But it would, if that was the only way to get information, I think that it really would be shocking that there were so many people who were raising a critical voice about what's going on right now, because the notion of the dominant frame is so hegemonic about the justice of the Israeli government's cause and the terrorism of the Palestinian cause. It's so hegemonic that it does seem shocking that particularly so many young people have a different point of view. And I think that part of that may be embedded in how a lot of younger people, and I say this as a father of a 20-year-old who gets out on the street constantly. She was in DC for one of the major protests, also in Boston. But what I want to ask you, Bianca, is how do you get your news about Palestine?
Great question.
That's a really good question. I think that this is a moment where it's just so hard to sift through things and maintain media literacy, especially when we can't trust our own media. And I've been really, really sadly, hopelessly disappointed with even our local news media. Like, we did an action at Shri Thanadar's Christmas party the other day, and the way that the local media wrote about it was just so lacking and so bad. So the way that I get my news around this is that I try to keep up with certain journalists that are in Gaza. So there's like Wizard Bisan. There's other people that people repost that I know. They'll be wearing a press uniform a lot of the time, and that they are in the press. Al Jazeera I always take with a grain of salt because they also have biases in their funding.
Yes.
But they have been good to look at. But I follow Mondo Weiss. They are a great publication about Gaza. It's very unbiased. I like to see the articles that Jewish Voice for Peace posts. And I see what I do whenever people share news or post things or post really declarative statements is I fact check it and I look it up. There's the Snopes fact checker website, but there's also, if you just Google it and look for a few articles, I think that sifting through the deep waves of misinformation in this moment for both sides, right? Both the misinformation that is super anti-Palestinian, but there's also a great deal of anti-Semitic misinformation that is coming out right now that muddies the waters of anti-Zionist Jews, this growing population of anti-Zionist Jews, this growing intergenerational population, albeit it is skewing younger, that every day there's more and more anti-Zionist Jews, but there's still anti-Semitic things that are out there on the internet. So I think the way that I'm getting my news is I'm taking everything with a grain of salt. I'm trying to make sure there's multiple articles about things. If there's opinion pieces, I'm really reading into it. But also just talking to people, having conversations with people, getting new perspectives on things. I have had multiple people reach out to me and say the things that I've shared with them have made them become anti-Zionist or see another perspective, or that they regret that they posted pro-Israeli things in the beginning and now they really see what's going on. So I think it's a lot of this like paradoxical digital interpersonal work that's also kind of helping me like continue to gain my understanding. But I think Mondo Weiss is a great publication.
What about Instagram?
Yeah, I'm on Instagram every day. That's where I'm seeing like posts from Bisan, who's a journalist in Gaza, or from other people. And so Instagram, yeah, I'll look at Instagram stories. Like Mondo Weiss has an Instagram, and Jewish Voice for Peace has an Instagram, and if not now has an Instagram, and they always share good things. They have their organizations, they have teams are making sure they're sharing good things. But yeah, the majority of where I'm getting news from these other outlets is their Instagrams.
It's interesting, Bianca, because when you mention that about Instagram, I do think in today's modern world, that is the the best thing we have to a source of truth in some sense. And I see three categories there, Bianca. I see those that are able to look at Instagram outside the echo chamber and get good and see what's going on in Gaza. There's people, you know, such as those in my family who are determined to ignore everything, right? And then there's people like me who are in the third camp who I understand what's going on, but honestly, I find it too painful to actually, I know what's going on, but in order to keep the strength to actually have the fight, I do not go on Instagram because I just can't bear to see another child in the rubble and know that there's, sorry to, you know that right now we're sitting in the studio, we can yak at each other all we want, but it's not, it is planting the seeds, but we're not actively stopping a genocide right now. So those are the three categories I see, but I do see, I don't want to hold Instagram too high in the mountain. I'm glad you mentioned Mondo Vice. I'll check it out.
And the other David.
The other David, yes.
Yes, the other David.
So I would like
or the
to-
other Joshua.
I would like to make, let's maybe even call it a professorial intervention here.
Here.
And this has come up a couple of times. And I think what creates problem for people is the use of the word genocide. And I would say what made what the Nazis did genocide was it was a concerted agenda to obliterate a people. And I think what we're talking about is a genocidal sort of action, which is the indiscriminate killing of Palestinians. But I think what happens is we have to be a little bit cautious that we don't accuse the Israeli government of doing this as a programmatic goal of eradicating and killing all Palestinians. Wait a minute.
Yeah, please go ahead. My apologies. Go ahead. I'm so anxious to, but so go ahead. Yes.
And why that matters is it's easier to defend a ceasefire to end the sort of humanitarian destruction and to support sort of what is the average person living. I mean, people have mentioned this, living in tents, not having, bombing hospitals, doing all this stuff, which has, in the most generous form, it's an unfortunate and understandable consequence of an indiscriminate war. And it's not even a war because it's not two equal participants here. And even lately, when the Israelis maintain precision bombing, it's only been recently revealed that 45 to 50% of their bombs are just old Second World War type of bombs.
Painfully aware.
Right? So there's no precision bombing. So I think we do ourselves a disservice by stressing it as a genocide, but we should point to the consequences. It's genocidal to be indiscriminately killing people who have nowhere to go and telling them to move south and then bombing the south. So the horror of the circumstance is a humanitarian crisis that sort of transcends politics, but politics is what keeps it going. And I think what we're trying to do here is raise consciousness for why people of good conscience, one, don't have to be afraid of being accused of being anti-Semitic by questioning the behavior of what's going on, and also by advocating for a ceasefire to stop this hostility and deal with the the humanity sort of consequences of what's going on.
David, you make some really excellent points, and ultimately, I do think that I agree with you're saying. But allow me to submit a respectful rebuttal on them. But ultimately, I think I'm going to come around to your point of view. First thing is, again, your argument has professorial academic nuance, right? But that's okay, and that's okay. That's what we're here for. And it has good professorial academic nuance, which also addresses the complexity of the situation. But part of the problem is this is not a complex situation. Let me please have the floor, sir.
No, but before you go on.
So may I please have the floor?
No, we're going to do this. We're going to do this. But
traditional way is I would like to answer. So you made an assertion. I'd like to respond, and then you'll make another assertion, and that's debate.
I'm going to respond to you.
Go ahead, Tom. What do you think? You're as a moderator.
I was going to say, are you telling me that not all Jews agree on these questions? I do want Joshua to finish his point.
Thank you.
We'll give you plenty of space.
We'll give you plenty of time to answer.
You have to finish your point.
Take the hands, put them under your lap. We'll get. All right. So a couple of things, right? I really actually do appreciate the guidance you're giving about, hey, do you want to actually be effective? Because if you want to be effective, looking at the nuance, and then you picked apart and you said this is a genocidal action. I disagree based on my life experience, based on my information, that I believe that this is a genocide. Now, your point is, hey, look, you're probably going to get canceled and therefore less effective. But that's listen, but this is still the United States, and I have a right to say I have facts that actually back up that this is more than a genocidal action, that we are experiencing genocide. And I don't think we have time to, because we should take it offline.
No, I'm going to respond.
We should take it offline, because I'd like chance offline to actually then get together with you to actually show you my data and my facts rather than actually debate it when we don't have the facts. That's the first thing.
No, one thing at a time. So in response to that,
yes, please.
There are elements of the Israeli government which clearly wants to implement what you would call a genocide. That ignores the fact that it's not a singular society, and that what's happened in Israel, much as what's happened in the US, is that oppositional forces have been silenced. So the whole sort of progressive, if there is such a thing, or left of center or center parties have been sort of pushed aside by a war government led by
Agreed.
Netanyahu.
Agreed.
And a very right-wing settler influenced.
Talking my language.
Right. So the fact that there are elements much like
that dominate, that are in power.
Much like Donald Trump.
This is the discourse.
Much like Donald Trump, when he was president, declared all Muslims persona non grata, tried to ban all Muslim immigration.
Yes.
We have elements in our government. The unfortunate part about today in the US is that the center and the center left has become silenced because they're not sure how to deal with Israel and the long-standing sort of support. So recently,
still agree, yes,
right? There have been lots of reporting about how the Israeli-supported, Zionist-supported elements are funding all sorts of opposition candidates to silence people in Congress who are questioning what's going on in
painfully
Israel,
aware, yes.
right? So I'm not saying that they're not elements who would like to implement what we would call a genocide, but I would say that it's dangerous to paint with a broad brush all of Israeli politics. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, and I don't believe that this is a broad brush. I believe that this is a reasonable conclusion that I've come to based on factual investigation. And again, I would like to respectfully, as a gentleman, offline challenge you to that, because I think that if we sit down and we actually, doesn't have to be this week, it could be after the new year when I get back from Beirut. I think that if we take this offline and challenge it, also, if we have this debate offline and it turns out that you've opened my eyes, I'm all the more better for it as well. Because I know you're coming from a good place. You're coming from a place of, hey, look, based on my experience, Joshua and everyone, here's how I see it, and this is how I can be helpful and guide. So I get that, but right now we don't agree on this word genocidal versus genocide.
Where I'm coming from,
yes,
fundamentally, is to understand that the sort of battle cry of never again should really reflect never again against anyone anywhere, and not only against Jews.
Oh, that's a catchy line. I wonder who says that at rallies.
So I'm going to jump in for a second and say that there seems to be at least some agreement about tactics around the question of asserting genocide or not, and what sort of accesses I give you. But I also want to let Bianca come in on this very question. And then I want to get back to some of our core discussion, because we have about 8 minutes left, if I'm not mistaken. Go ahead, Bianca.
Yeah, I think it's been really jarring for people to hear genocide, because what does that imply? I mean, it's so heavy, and I think there's valid points to what both of you are saying.
Yes.
But I think for something to frame this is that, like, they knew October 7th was coming. A female in the IDF intelligence let people know, escalate it multiple times, like, hey, we have all this intel, this is going to happen. And I think that there was certain people in the conservative Israeli government that saw her escalation and ignored it because they wanted an event to start this genocide.
The neocon doctrine from the Nixon era, you need a seismic event to make sure the public is fully entrenched in your side, so you can have.
Yeah, no, exactly. You're
Wait.
totally right. And so
I'm being admonished. Sorry, Bianca. I'll stop interrupting. I'm being admonished. Do I get a red card? Go on, Bianca.
no, you're fine. Yeah, but that's exactly it. That I just think that it's complicated, and there's people within the Israeli government that don't want this to happen, and there's people that have been silenced, and there's citizens that have been silenced, and there's proof that they're not letting them protest. They're taking certain signs and banners away from them because they don't want media images of them calling it a genocide within Israel. They're stopping marches or not doing media coverage on marches that are growing by the thousands day by day in Haifa and in Tel Aviv, right? They don't want this to be in the media. So I think whether or not you call it a genocide, it's complicated with the intricacies of the government. But I think just as for the intents and purposes of non-Israelis and Western people using Zionist or anti-Zionist, like they don't say that in Israel because a lot of Israelis are like, well, even though I want freedom for Palestinians, where am I going to go, right? They don't like saying Zionist and anti-Zionist, and they also don't really like saying genocide or not. But for the intents and purposes of Western discourse and non-Israeli Palestinian discourse, I think genocide is just what we need to say, and Zionist and anti-Zionist is just what we need to say because we have an attention deficit here, and we just have to be clear.
Okay, we have 5 minutes left, so I'm going to pivot it to an organizing component, and that's because that's what I'm all about, right? I'm all about what steps do we take from what we've learned today or what we've discussed today in order to further something that we do all agree on, which is the horror of what is happening right now at the hands of the Israeli government in Gaza and more broadly. And so obviously a key focus has been on questions of Jewish identity related to the current struggle. And in terms of organizing, I know that I can think of numerous possible positive outcomes that will derive from our conversation today. One is that Joshua and Bianca will connect, hopefully around, formulating Jewish Voices for Peace as an organization that will organize among more Jewish students at Wayne State University. The other thing that we've talked about, and I don't mind sharing this with the public audience, is approaching our chief officer of diversity, equity, inclusion at Wayne State, who doesn't want to talk about, they want to say that there's casualties on both sides. It's a very both sides argument.
Good people on both sides.
Exactly. And to put together, and I don't know if all of us would be a party to it or not, but the idea has been proposed of, well, now that we have her ear, I'm not sure she's been convinced yet, but we at least have her ear about the idea of a multiplicity of Jewish voices. Why don't we, in addition to sharing this video with her, perhaps also talk about organizing a visit with her to help make that point? But for the broader audience also, please take the wisdom from this session that, at the very least, not all Jews are on board with the massacres that are happening. And even that there are Jews who are saying, frankly, that they have learned a lot through their Jewish heritage and upbringing that leads them. It's not that they're being bad Jews, they're being good Jews, if you want to put it in that framing, that leads them to speak out against what's happening. The last thing, since we have 3 minutes left, is I'm going to give each of you, and I'm going to try to hold this to you, 1 minute to make final comments, okay? Because then we have to wrap up at 11. So we'll go Joshua, David, and then we'll go to Bianca.
I'll start. David was correct in terms of saying, look, the goal right now is a ceasefire. So what I want to impress upon people that are listening, if they agree with this point of view, is to contact your elected representatives and contact them again and again and again. We have 7 cities and counties in Michigan which have passed a ceasefire resolution, and we're working on about 3 or 4 more. If we can get to 10 cities and counties that have a official ceasefire resolution, we could essentially begin to equivocate Michigan or officially as a ceasefire state. And that could be very powerful. So in terms of I hear people talking, what do I do next? That's the next move. Over to you.
Perfect
Thank you.
timing. Thank you. David.
1 minute. As an academic, you can take a minute to say everything and can say anything and take a minute. What I'd like to say is that I think from a more appropriate level, a Wayne State question, Bianca, I look forward to hearing from you, and we can discuss what more we could do apropos Tom's point about talking to the DEI representative. But also, I think one of the things coming out of the 60s was the importance of teach-ins on campus. One of the things that I think we need to do is educate the student body to empower the Palestinian voices, the Arab voices, the Jewish voices that are in opposition, who feel like they need a better understanding, and maybe educate people who are, as Josh would say, don't have access to the kind of information which would lead them to make good decisions. And I'm thinking of my own experience in terms of what I learned during my student years about what was going on in Vietnam, beginning as an ardent supporter of the American involvement in Vietnam, with more information, slowly turning around and really understanding why it was a problem and why it should be, why there should be opposition to it. So let's work on campus.
Thank you, David. And Bianca.
Yeah, I definitely want to get working on campus. To those who are listening, if you want to follow me on Instagram at BIREGA98. I've been trying to meet some people through there and do some organizing on campus through Instagram. But speaking of teach-ins, I want to partner with Students for Justice in Palestine once we start our Jewish Voice for Peace chapter and do a screening of the movie Israelism. It's a great movie about American Jews, by American Jews, about how we are indoctrinated into supporting Israel. But yeah, I think we're going to continue organizing on campus, and ceasefire is what we need. So in addition to calling and faxing and emailing and sending letters to representatives, we should also continue to protest and outside their offices and confront them and try to push our elected officials toward a ceasefire resolution, so that we can stop watching these horrors unfold through the screens of our phones and computers and TVs. It's absolutely deplorable, and I cannot believe we are on 75 days and 75 years of the horror in Palestine.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I want to thank our guests for joining us today. It's been great. I've learned even more that not all Jews agree, more than I even came in believing. And I also want to thank 810, the world's greatest producer, Mickey Jordan.
Hey, Mickey. Thank you.
810 for allowing us to have this space. Look, in a couple of weeks, I will be bringing in Bianca again. You'll get Bianca part 2 or 3 weeks from now, sitting down with some of the writers of the BDS resolution, as well as Yasmin Snunu, who has a parent in both the West Bank and in Gaza, and also hopefully an organizer from Flint on these issues, a campus organizer, so that we can further the conversation. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you for your patience, and thank you, Tom.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you, Tom. Thank you, David, Bianca.